All right. So, Tin Roof on a Tuesday, Batman. Uh, Welcome to a special episode of Tin Roof Podcast. Just wanted to drop this one kind of out of a surprise. Had a lot of good stuff that we talked about yesterday. I'm feeling really, really good about the episode. But I wanted to talk some racing and some music news with y'all. And so the first thing being, let's do music news first. Um, wow, Joe, the the Hicks tape that just dropped by Hardy in the collaboration with all the other country music artists that is a tribute to Joe Diffie is absolutely fantastic, and I cannot believe that those words are coming out of my mouth. Um, they left in chunks of Joe Diffie singing, and I'm super appreciative of that. And then on top of that, the people that they chose to be in there is fantastic. I really got to give my hat off to Hardy for such a great album. Uh, One of my favorite ones was actually with Tracy Lawrence, and it was "Prop Me Up Beside the Jukebox." And I thought that it was a really well picked song, and that having somebody like Tracy Lawrence on there, and even Lainey Wilson, was just a perfect fit for it. And then the way the album ends off is super like heartfelt and almost gut wrenching in a sense, because it's Ships That Don't Come In, and it's got Luke Combs and Toby Keith on there. And the fact that we just lost Toby Keith, and he was on a song that is, well, Ships That Don't Come In, was absolutely amazing. I'm holding my mic because I've been having some mic issues while recording these the past couple of sessions, so I'm trying to keep an eye on it. Things have been a little difficult, but another thing, music news wise, is Chad Gray of Mudvayne and another music project that he was doing with Vinnie Paul, uh, formerly of Pantera, was asked about the reunion, so to speak, of Pantera, and he had this to say. It was Vinnie wasn't for it at all, and I knew that because of like watching VH1 stuff in the past and whatnot, where they talked about Pantera, and Vinny was very vocal about his feelings. He was not okay with Phil, and I don't know if that was ever addressed, but I'm still okay with seeing, personally, I'm still okay with seeing the uh, Pantera reunion, so to speak. Obviously, it would be so cool if it was with Dime and with Vinny, but that can't happen. And it's still nice to see, in a sense, and I like that Zach Wilde's a part of it, which I've said before on this podcast. But is it different in a sense? Oh, absolutely, 100%. It's not the same. But I don't know if I would be okay with new music. I don't know. I'm still on the fence on a few things. But to be able to say that you got to see Phil and Rex, the two live members still of Pantera, performing Pantera music live, will be really cool. And unfortunately, I missed my chance. So that's a bummer. Hopefully, they come back through St. Louis at some point. But as of right now, I don't see that happening. But also, we have more new music here lately. Cody Jinks Has Changed the Game came out a week ago, and Aaron Lewis's uh, new album, The Hill, came out on Friday, along with the Hicks tape uh, album. And I'm not fully through Over the Hill yet, or The Hill, but there's a song on there titled Over the Hill. I'm not fully through the album yet. Got some qualms with it, but it is good. It's an Aaron Lewis project. I'm a fan of Aaron Lewis, but there's like, I wish he didn't cuss as much as what he does, but I just won't listen to those songs. But yeah, well put together piece so far. Lastly, we're going to talk about country music not being dead prior to Beyonce's release of Cowboy Carter. Now, I really don't care for Beyonce's Cowboy Carter. Have zero interest. That's not for me. If you ask me, most of the stuff on country radio is not country. So, where I would make the argument that country music wasn't dead prior to Cowboy Carter would be you got guys like Tyler Childers, Ian No, Cody Jinks, Aaron Lewis, Zach Bryan, even Lainey Wilson. I would credit with being a good country music star. People that are actually out here putting out real country music. And I would even put Casey Musgraves in there. She does a pretty good job of making stuff that is actual country. The High Women, all of those ladies do a great job. So there are women out there that are putting out great country music as well as great men. And they're still out there doing it. So to say that all country music is dead, no, country radio is dead. I think that there needs to be a clear, distinct line there, but I'm just a podcaster with just a handful of views. So you can't take my word very far, I guess. But I am a fan and I enjoy the music. So maybe you can. I don't know. It's just one guy's opinion. Now, switching to racing, we have had some really cool racing this weekend with Raleigh. Started the weekend off Thierry Neuville and Kalle Rovanperä leading the rally out in Raleigh, Kenya for Team Hyundai with Neuville and Team Toyota with Rovanperä. And both guys were on a rail. I mean, just zooming. And it looked like Neuville was going to dominate right out the gate, but then a tire puncture took him out on Friday. And so then Rovanperä started to walk away. And everybody, it seemed like, other than Rovanperä and Takamoto Katsuda, I had to say it really, really slow because my brain is not working with me right now. Those two ended up taking the 1-2 and had pretty solid weekends with very minimal breakage. A couple tire punctures for Takamoto, but it was a pretty clean weekend for both of them. And Kalle actually credited it to notes and his co-driver. I mean, with Raleigh, it's a team effort. It's you and your co-driver, and the co-driver definitely had to have taken some really good notes to help get them to the podium win. And they're reigning champions for a reason. So that was really cool. Esapekalapi, loads of issues. I felt so bad for him, especially after having such a great run at Rally Sweden. So that was a really big bummer. Elfyn Evans had a halfway decent weekend. There's like a 3-way tie right now for first place in points. Adrian Formeau, Elfyn Evans, and Thierry Neuville. Like I said, my brain is starting to get shot, so I apologize. And they ran the soft tires most of the weekend because the soft tires are for like dry weather. But then eventually we did hit some rain, and so it created for some really cool video, really cool pictures. Check out Dirtfish and WRC for all of those things. I'm gonna try to put a little bit of stuff up if there hasn't been anything over here already. Maybe there will be in the future. Dabbling with this video podcasting has been a totally new project for me, and it's been a little different. But speaking of which, since this is a Tin Roof podcast, remember, get you some Dubby. It is an energy powder. They also have sports drink powders, kind of like Gatorade. And especially this week here, it's kind of a big deal. It's Dubby's 3rd year as a company, and so normally most energy drink companies don't survive a year. So get you some Dubby, put in the customer notes WB Day, and then you'll get a free item picked by the owner, Anthony. And then if you use the code STORIES10, that will also give you a 10% discount. So do that, get you some Dubby, try it out. It's made in the USA. It's a USA-based company. It comes from California. Shipping does take a little bit, but it's extremely, extremely worth it. I'm really enjoying it, and I will actually, by the time this video is out, I will probably have already made an order for my own next order of W. And this one here is the Aniba Elixir. I really like it a lot. But back to racing. We have some news that we need to cover as far as an update with the tires thing. And hopefully we're almost done with tire stuff because it's becoming tiresome. So as of 4 days ago, the Pierce, Morin, and Bronson penalties were upheld, but they were adjusted. So I'm going to read you what it says directly from speedsport.com. So, Concord, North Carolina, the World Racing Group Appeals Commission, comprised of independent industry personnel, convened on March 26th to hear separate appeals from Bobby Pierce, Devin Moran, and Kyle Bronson regarding penalties issued to them for tires used in competition that did not conform to the Hoosier Racing Tire benchmark in February at Florida's Volusia Speedway Park. The Appeals Commission upheld the findings that after the laboratory testing of each tires in question did not meet the benchmark, affirming at the same time the complete tire testing process and procedures employed by World Racing Group. However, the Appeals Commission weighed the statements made by the drivers and owners during the hearings on Tuesday and decided to adjust the penalties. Pierce's penalty, mercy, from the February 16th World of Outlaws late model series event was adjusted to a loss of purse money and prize money, 4,000 purse, 3,000 in Gator Championship winnings, in points earned in that race, which was 144 points. That's still a big deal, even though we're early in the season. A fine of $2,000 and tire analysis fee of $400 must be paid before competing again in a World Racing Group event. Warren's penalty from the February 13th Dirt Car Racing late model event series was adjusted to a loss of purse money and prize money, $7,000 in purse, $2,000 in Gator Championship winnings, and a fine of $1,000. That still seems the same because he was fined like 10 grand. And a fine of $1,000 and a tire analysis fee of $400 must be paid before competing again in a World Racing Group event. Bronson's penalty from the February 13th Dirt Car Racing Late Model Series event was adjusted to a loss of purse money, $2,000, a fine of $1,000, and a tire analysis fee of $400 must be paid before competing in a World Racing Group event again. All three drivers and crews have been placed on probation for the remainder of the season. Any subsequent violations will result in higher fines, increased point penalties, even suspension. Pending payment of their tire fines, or all of their fines, all three drivers and teams are eligible to compete in World Racing Group events. Merci. Okay, so they've adjusted it because obviously something was brought forth in these tests that wasn't quite what it appeared to be. So if it's in question at all, why, I don't know why it was upheld. And in this case, I honestly applaud Pierce, Morin, and Bronson for appealing because it seems like something's in question, and I'm questioning the integrity of the tire testing here, and I've already brought forth solutions as to what could be done in order to not have this happen again. You can check back to last week's episode, but that seems like the best ways to handle this would be to do something like I had mentioned before, something like having a trailer just full of tires that get mounted and whatnot right there in front of everybody. That, to me, that seems like the best option. Beyond that, I don't know how much more we can talk about this. We'll see what happens once these guys get back into the mix with races. They should be getting pretty close to getting back out there. Just because we're getting a little bit later in the season. These things happened back in February. We're a month in, so we should be getting close to the number of events that they were able to, whatever. Now, if these guys choose to not pay the fines and just not race in these series anymore, that's a whole nother story. But I don't see that happening. I see these fines being paid, and I see us moving forward. And I honestly, I think that would be for the benefit of everybody. I don't want to see these guys not racing. I don't want to see any bad blood. I don't think it's worth it in this case. So, personal opinion on that one. really, that's it for dirt car racing at the moment. Uh, Monster trucks, though, Monster Jam's continuing with live events, which I really can't believe I'm talking about Monster Jam for a third time on here. But they're continuing on with their live events. Casper, Wyoming is coming up this next weekend for Toughest Monster Truck Tour. And what I mean by live events, let me back up for a second. I glossed over that way too much. They're still like showing live events on YouTube. They did a bunch of ones from the UK weekend that they just did, debuting their. It's like a pod. I think they call it a monster gun, and so basically, they actually even fill it with dirt so it doesn't slide, which is logical in my thought. Uh, so there's dirt there. It's just not on the track at all, um, and it's just to keep this thing in place. I didn't really get to watch them hit it. Racing on a concrete floor with monster trucks with no cars is extremely lackluster. If we're going to do a monster truck event where we're trying to take cars out of it, we're trying to take dirt out of it, we're trying to take all these things out of it, we need to come up with a better idea on how to use these things. I've got an idea of where I would like to see things go, and that's for rally and monster trucks and a bunch of the other things that I really enjoy. So next week, that it will be a topic that we cover on Tin Roof. So that'll be a lot of fun. But I think that's pretty much what I've got for today. Oh, wait, hang on. Toughest Monster Truck Tour going to Casper, Wyoming this next weekend, I believe. That's such a great tour. A lot of fun to watch. I think we're going to have a guest on here again, too, before too long. I've got one in mind, and it would be racing related, so I think that would be a lot of fun. WrestleMania is this next week. As of like Monday, like WrestleMania week started. I would like to do some fun things with WrestleMania, but I have zero ideas at the moment. So maybe next year I just plan ahead better. But that's pretty much what I have for this special Tuesday edition of Tin Roof Podcast. Hope you guys have a good one and enjoy the rest of the week and keep rocking on and picking and grinning and keep the rubber side down. Later.